All right, let's talk about something we all think we know: vitamin D. We're always told that if you can't get enough sun, a pill is the next best thing for your bones. But is that really the whole story? We're going to dive into some fascinating research that suggests there's a huge piece of the puzzle that a supplement just can't give you. This sounds like a pretty funny, kinda obvious line, right? But it's actually the takeaway from a very real and very surprising scientific study. And as we're about to see, the reason why the sun is so much better, well, it's going to completely flip what you think you know about vitamin D on its head.
So this is the big question. We just assume that popping a pill fixes a deficiency and boom, story's over. But what if that's not it at all? What if real sunlight triggers this whole incredible cascade of benefits that a simple supplement just can't replicate? Let's take a look at the actual evidence.
Okay, so most of what we're talking about today comes from this fantastic 2017 study. And what they did was directly compare sunlight exposure to vitamin D supplements in rats. It's a really clean, really simple experiment that honestly produced some genuinely shocking results. The setup was super straightforward. The researchers took a bunch of rats that had weak bones because they were vitamin D deficient. Then they split them up. One group got some sunlight, another got a vitamin D supplement, and a third control group got nothing. And here's the key. They watched what happened for just 10 days. And this, right here, is where it gets really, really interesting. Because after only 10 days, the differences between these groups weren't just small, they were absolutely dramatic. And what they found really challenges the very foundation of how we've been told to think about vitamin D. I mean, just look at the physical changes here. The rats that got sunlight, their bones visibly transformed. The internal scaffolding of their bones, it's called trabeculae, it actually got thicker. They started producing more of the raw material needed to build new bone. Now, the supplement group, yeah, they saw some improvement, sure, but it was absolutely nothing compared to the deep structural repair that was happening in the sunlight group. And this chart shows us a huge reason why. This is parathyroid hormone, or PTH. Now, all you need to know is that high PTH is bad news for bones. It basically tells your body to start breaking them down. And in the sunlight group, look at that. PTH levels absolutely plummeted. It was like a switch flipped, telling the body, stop destroying bone. But the supplement group, their PTH levels barely even budged. And here it is. This is the absolute plot twist of the whole story. You think, okay, the rats with the much healthier bones must have higher vitamin D levels in their blood, right? Nope. Wrong. The blood test showed that vitamin D levels didn't really go up in either group. The incredible bone repair, it happened without a big spike in blood vitamin D. So this just leads to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If these massive improvements to the bone weren't being caused by a rise in vitamin D in the blood, then what in the world was the sunlight doing that the pill wasn't? The answer, it turns out, lies in some pretty incredible hidden biology. It turns out that thinking of sunlight as just a vitamin D factory is way too simple. It's actually a complex signal that kicks off this whole symphony of biological processes that are essential for our health, processes that a supplement just completely skips over. For instance, one of sunlight's secret weapons is the type of vitamin D it makes. In your skin, sunlight creates a sulfated version of vitamin D. This form is water-soluble, which means it can travel through your bloodstream super easily, interacting with your body in a way that the fat-soluble kind you get from a pill just can't. And it doesn't even stop there. Sunlight also boosts something called nitric oxide, which improves your blood flow. It helps regulate hormones like serotonin and cortisol that are directly tied to bone density. It even makes your cells' little energy factories, the mitochondria, work better. And it resets your body's internal clock, which is crucial for preventing bone loss. A pill does, well, none of that. So what do we do with all this? How can we actually apply this science to our everyday lives? Let's talk about a practical plan. First things first, let's be really clear. This does not mean you should go throw your vitamin D supplements in the trash. Absolutely not. They are still incredibly important, especially if you live somewhere with long winters or you work indoors all day. The whole point here is to see them as just one tool in the toolbox, not the only tool. So, the ideal way to get these benefits is through short, sensible bursts of sun. We're talking about 10 to 20 minutes, ideally around midday when the sun is strongest. Get as much skin out as you can, and for just this short window, hold off on the sunscreen. But only if you know your skin and you know you won't burn. If you're very fair, seriously, start with just 2 or 3 minutes and build up from there.
Thinking this way helps us sidestep some really common mistakes. First, don't assume a supplement is a complete instant fix. Second, don't just avoid the sun altogether. Third, remember what we learned. A blood test doesn't always tell you the whole story. And finally, don't forget that your body needs other things, like magnesium and vitamin K2, to actually use vitamin D properly, whether it's from the sun or a pill.
So let's just zoom out for a second. This whole conversation isn't really just about bones, or even about one specific vitamin. This research points to a much, much bigger idea about our connection to the world around us. Here's the main takeaway. Our bodies, our biology, we are fundamentally wired for sunlight. We have this ancient, incredibly complex relationship with it. And trying to boil that entire beautiful symphony of benefits down to a single molecule that we can stick in a capsule, well, it means we're missing a huge part of the picture. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In our constant search for easy fixes and convenient solutions, are we accidentally forgetting about the most powerful, ancient, and totally free medicine that is literally all around us? It's something to think about next time you step outside. Thanks for tuning in.